Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Frankie here, and today I'm going to just talk a little bit about the difference between LPN clinicals and RN clinicals. Now, I did get a lot of questions in regards to when I had posted my my RN clinicals Get Ready With Me video. If you haven't checked that out, definitely check it out. I'll put it down in the description box down below for you. But this is going to be a fairly quick video. So the only thing I could really talk about is, of course, the LPN experience and then the bridge RN experience. Now, I did not do the RN from the very beginning because I'm already an LPN. So I come in towards the third semester of RN program. So if you're starting from the very beginning of an RN program, I really don't know how their particular clinicals are. But from the bridge perspective of already being an LPN bridging over to RN, I got you. We're going to talk about it. So starting with LPN, when I was in LPN school, we did, a lot of our clinicals were at a nursing home, okay? So we did a lot of the nursing homes, and then we did one of hospital, okay? And it's really hard finding a hospital that takes LPNs, but this particular hospital that was close to my school, they actually have LPN nurses on the floor with the RNs. So you still get all your own patients. The only thing is the things that we cannot do, like the IV pushes and things like that, then they would go get a charge nurse or another RN or a RN to come and do that particular task. And of course, they had all stable patients. We cannot have unstable patients. So that was one thing. But they pretty much was just independent nurses on the floor. So that was pretty cool. Now with LPN, like I said, most of it was in a nursing home, and it was a lot of just CNA work. Now, if you have never been a CNA, honey, then those were the main people that were kind of complaining, like, oh, I don't want to do this work. I don't want to do this work. Even though it's foundation, I feel like all nurses need to do that work. I've been a patient care tech / CNA, so I completely understand the hard work that they put in. Like, it is hard. It's hard on your mind, body, and soul being a CNA. So me, that really didn't bother me as much because I was already skilled in those particular areas. So I already knew what I was doing. If you have never done that work, I recommend, instead of complaining about it, do it. It will save you so much time when you do become a nurse, because there's a lot of things that you could just do while you're already in the room, and you don't have to wait on a CNA to do it or call a CNA in there to do it when they already have a ton of patients that they have to take care of, okay? So anyways, getting that out the way. So a lot of people complained in regards because they had to do a lot of CNA work. They didn't really do a lot of nursing. Now, depending on your facility and your school and the staff there will determine the experience you will get. And just to go a little bit deeper in that, when we were in LPN school and going to clinicals to the nursing home, a lot of the nurses did not want to be bothered, okay? They already were understaffed. They had a lot of stuff going. They already had like a ton of patients that I just can't believe was legal. And, you know, they just was really overwhelmed with their work. So they really didn't have time to be like, hey, I'm going to take 2 or 3 students and I'm going to teach them as they follow me along and do all of this stuff. They wanted to get their work done. So they were moving pretty fast. You did have some that would explain to you. You have some that wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So it just all kind of depends. Some people had good experience with the nurses they followed, and some had bad. Me, I had a good experience. The nurses that we had, one nurse, she did move really fast. So she wasn't, but she did not mind letting us like change a wound or something like that. But you could tell she'd be kind of already in her ways. You know what I'm saying? Now, we did have an amazing, awesome nurse named Brandy, and we fought over her. Like, we want her, but she was a float nurse. So when we got there, she could be on different units of the nursing home. She was not necessarily just on the same unit every day. So depending on where we were assigned to, we may get to work with her, and then we may not get to work with her. So we used to fight over her. Now, she was amazing. She would actually teach us. She would ask us questions. You know what I'm saying? She would let us do things. And at this time, the facility we were at, they did not allow us to do insulin. We could do the blood sugars, but we couldn't do insulin. So, which was weird. So the nurse had to do the insulin, but we could take their blood sugar. So really, we didn't do nothing but pass meds and do wounds a lot of the whole time, pretty much at the nursing home. Now, when we did go to the hospital, it was pretty much the same thing. Not so much of wounds, but we got to pass meds. But we didn't do, of course, IV pushes or IVs or anything like that. But we did get to stick a couple people with IVs at the hospital. We got to go to the pre-op floor and do a couple IVs, and that's pretty much, I mean, it wasn't nothing like super exciting, but I would say compared to a couple other students in my LPN class, I did get a good experience of nursing. So I got to do a lot of nursing things, and some of them didn't really get to do a lot. They did a lot of just CNA work. So they really didn't do like passing meds and stuff like that. You trying to go outside, mama? Getting back. So now moving on to the bridge program of the RN. Okay. Now as an RN, like I said, I did the bridge, and they expect you to know a lot of this stuff already because you're a LPN and you took boards, you didn't get certified, so you know you could pass meds and all that stuff. Now, with any nursing program, you still have to do skilled checkoff. So going to checkoffs, LPN school, they explained to us, they took us to the lab, they demonstrated how to do putting on gloves, taking off gloves, gowns, PPE, IVs, medication. Like they explain it all to you, and they show you, and you get to practice and all that like wonderful stuff. Well, when you get to the bridge program, no, they expect you to know it. So you will sign up for a day that you want to do your check off, and on that day you arrive and you check off. Like you go in there, and they give us those lab kits, which I do have a video when I picked up my books and my lab kits and all that stuff. I will put that video down below. But they would pretty much you just show up, you bring your lab kit. Like they didn't provide like the stuff. In LPN school, they provided everything. We really didn't even need to buy a lab kit because they gave us everything in lab. So lab kit was just extra money you didn't have to use. RN school, you're finna use your lab kit. They're not finna provide you with all that stuff. So you need to bring your lab kit. We'll go, and the teacher would be there with her checkoff sheet, and then we would just do medications, trachs, Foley catheters, a G-tube, all of that stuff. Okay, so we would just go in there and perform the skills. They check us off, either you pass or you fail. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no we finna go to the lab, we ain't finna talk about it, we're not finna demonstrate. You're already LPNs, you should already know this stuff. So it was just what it was. And so when it came to clinicals, we did the hospital. Now, I don't know a lot of RN programs where they do nursing homes, to be honest. If you are one that did it, then put that down below, because I'm very interested to see if schools do that. But for RN, it's mostly the hospital. And we went, and it is pretty different. You know, it's more so like your nurses, and you're going to get report. They don't sit and hold your hand. They're going to run through their report as normal of their 5 to 7 patients, or you know how many patients they have. They go through report, and you're responsible for seeing when their medication is due. You're responsible for seeing like if they have labs that day, what type of preps they need, what things needs to be done. Like you're responsible for that. So it was more so of go with the RN. When you get there, they expect you to be a little bit more independent as a nurse, you know, especially in the bridge portion. So they already knew we were LPN. So it was like, we're not holding your hand, honey. Like, figure it out. Find you something to do. Okay. And then we took a time to go out to the ER. So we got to rotate out to the ER for like an hour or 2 hours or something like that. And I got like a ton of experience in the ER. I absolutely loved the ER. I never thought I would, but I really liked the ER. I thought it was interesting. Stuff is always changing in the ER, like your patients, and you're not just stuck on doing a floor nurse with the patients for a couple of days or whatever. Like ER is like, okay, you may, you know, say you come to work, you have a different assignment, you have different things going on. You don't know what's going to come through the ER and all that stuff. So I really enjoyed that. You got to interact with the doctors more. You got to see procedures being done. In LPN, we didn't get to do all of that. Yes, doctors did come to the nursing home, but those doctors, they wasn't very friendly. They didn't talk a lot. Even I don't think a lot of doctors are friendly and talk a lot, but at the hospital, because you're in the ER, when I did the ER, the doctor would, of course, talk a lot more with the nurses and what the plan of care would be for the patients. Okay, so I really enjoyed that. So the difference is with the RN program, you're going to do just a lot more stuff. You're going to have medications. You're responsible for a lot more stuff because you're RN. So they expect you to be able to independently manage your patients, and you get to do a lot of things that you don't get to do in a nursing home. As far as the things you don't get to do is like IV pushes. If they have any type of medication you have to give through like a port or anything like that, we could do that in the hospital. For RN, LPN, we were not allowed to do any of that, which we weren't really exposed to that anyway. Even though we did go to the hospital for clinicals, we wasn't exposed to a lot of that stuff anyways, because they wasn't going to assign us to unstable patients or anything like that. But in the ER, you get unstable patients and you are responsible for go. Okay, so I say the difference is, of course, with the RN, you get to do a lot more when it comes to your patients, but also with the RN, you're in the hospital. With the LPN, a lot of hospitals, like I said, don't hire LPNs. So you're most likely at a nursing home. So they're training you pretty much for like nursing home work without saying nursing home work, because like I said, a lot of hospitals not taking LPNs. So that is the difference. You know what I'm saying? I hope you guys understood that, because I said a lot. But that is the difference when it comes to LPN and RN. I feel like RN, you're just a lot more independent. You're able, they expect you to know a lot more. They expect you to initiate what needs to be done and things like that. LPN, they really held your hand a lot when it came to clinicals. I would say the nursing home, they didn't hold your hand, but you didn't do anything. Like I said, you were just pretty much just CNA work. You didn't do a lot of nursing work. The nurses really didn't have time to be babysitting no students. They weren't trying to teach no students. They just wasn't in the mood. And you could just tell, you could tell the work environments when it's not a good environment. And a lot of it was due to understaffing and too many patients on one person. So yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst, I would say. I feel like I did learn a lot, but with the hospital, I definitely learned a lot as well. But keep in mind, I'm already an LPN, so a lot of stuff have been already exposed to, and I kind of already know. If you are new to RN and first semester, of course, they're gonna probably hold your hand a little bit more compared to the people that's bridging over that's already nurses. So that's pretty much it. So comment down below if you guys have a different experience in regards to being an LPN clinicals and then RN clinicals. Comment that down below, because I'm really interested to see if your experience was different than mine, which people's experiences are different. And also, what are y'all doing? And pretty much that's it. I didn't want the video to be too long, but I just kind of wanted to clarify that it's really not a big difference between the two. Like I said, you're just responsible for more as an RN compared to an LPN, and you're probably going to be in a nursing home as an LPN. Compared to an RN, you're probably going to be in a hospital. So that's pretty much it. But either way go, make the best out of your experience. Try to learn as much as you can from your experience. Don't go in there with a closed mind, like, oh, I already know how to do this. If you're an LPN, just please keep an open mind, because your experience will be a lot better when you're more welcoming. The staff will be more welcoming. You will be more welcoming. Everybody will be just thriving, and it'll be a good environment. You don't want to go in there negative, because then they sense that, and a lot of times it'll end up being a negative experience. So anyways, that's my little rant. But that's it. So guys, definitely subscribe, comment, share, and give this video a big thumbs up. And I will get some more videos out for you guys. I had to take a mental break. Hey, I had to take a mental break because, school is draining, and I needed, like a week or so off just to recollect get my house back in order and get back on track of just not being in class. And classes start back in August for the fall semester. So of course we will have a lot of vlogging to do because that would be considered the third semester of RN. And I heard that was one of the hardest semesters of the RN program. So we're gonna have a lot to talk about. We're probably gonna have a lot of breakdowns. Who knows what it's gonna be in third semester, but you guys will be along for the ride. And that's it. So definitely I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.